Global vehicle manufacturing giant Renault has joined the list of firms that have chosen Ghana to host the assembly plant this year. Renault, established in 1899, says the business environment in Ghana and its proximity to other West African countries influenced its decision to explore the opportunity. Renault joins Nissan, Volkswagen and Sinotruk of China to assemble their vehicles in Ghana. Senior Vice President and Chairman of the Africa and Middle East for Renault, Fabrice Kambolibe, at a meeting with President Akufo-Addo, is confident all necessary paperwork will be done soon to enable a smooth takeoff.
In Africa, we began as a pioneer in many countries, out of which Morocco, where in 10 years we have been able to put and to sustain the automotive industry. And that's a know-how we have to share and to see if there are some other opportunities to be and to have a complementary presence in Africa. That's why, for me, this government policy is interesting. First of all, to study and to see after that if our products could cope with the needs and the needs of the consumers in Ghana. That was the main point of our mission with my team for the next, for today and tomorrow.
Well, Cabinet will this week consider possible tax incentives for multinational companies that have signed an understanding with government to set up an assembly and manufacturing plant in Ghana. President Akufo-Addo indicated government is exploring all avenues to industrialize and create the needed jobs for the youth.
We've been in office now for about 2 years. And when we came into office, the circumstances of our economy were not attractive for the future. High debt, high deficits, high inflation, widespread unemployment. These were some of the essential features of the Ghanaian economy when we came into office exactly 2 years ago. And we've been working hard these 2 years to try and get the macroeconomic fundamentals of our economy back on track. And by and large, apart from the figures, you've also got a hard-working population that with the right leadership, the right management is prepared to, take the sleeves off and get down and work, and a creative population of that. I think where we are in West Africa is a matter of some advantage to us. We're right in the middle of the region, and are the ones who stride both the Anglophone and the Anglophone worlds of West Africa, right in the middle of it. We're the second largest economy in West Africa. So there are lots and lots of reasons why Ghana will be a well-positioned place for you. We're looking upon ourselves as the gateway to West Africa, to a market of some 350 million people at the moment, which is scheduled to go up to 500 million by what, 2030? So that's where we're positioning ourselves as the gateway nation to West Africa. So we think that it will be a good place for you to look at. On top of it, the minister and those working with him have been assiduous in trying now to work on an automobile policy which will make it clear to all investors in the industry what exactly are the fiscal incentives and other incentives that government is prepared to offer. I think any time from now.
Staying with transportation, in the gridlock of city traffic, the motorcycle offers a fast and smart alternative to move around. But it's proving to be deadly. Out of the 2,000 people killed on Ghana's roads last year, 600 of them were related to motorbike accidents. Those who survived these accidents were left with shocking wounds. In the following report, Maxwell Agwagwa puts a spotlight on how some private and commercial motor riders risk their lives and those of pedestrians by ignoring important road traffic regulations.
Some drivers made screaming various destinations. The early morning traffic has started on the Okponglo stretch of the Accra-Medina Road. Parked on the sides of the road are some commercial motorcycles. Accra's growing population means a lot more cars on our streets. People say necessity is the mother of all inventions. So a lot of Ghanaians have found ingenious ways of avoiding the bumper-to-bumper traffic. Well, this is one of the ways, sitting on a motorbike to your destination. But do you know that a lot of these riders sometimes have to breach road safety regulations just so they can get you to your destination on time? Well, we have been on the streets of Accra monitoring how some of these riders observe road safety regulations here in the city center, in the central business districts, and every part of Accra. I've met 36-year-old commercial motor rider Yao Usu. He says, although the Okada business is lucrative, it is a high-risk job. The traffic light has turned red, but not the presence of an MTTD officer at the Okponglu intersection is deterring these motor riders from jumping the red light. I decided to pursue one of the culprits. So how often do you jump the red light?
It's my habit. I do it every day. Sometimes they understand, sometimes it can be difficult. So if I try give them something small, I mean, you know, if you are in a car, all right, and then it turns on to red, you feel relaxed, okay? But moto, it enhances fast movement. Like we are hot on the streets. We don't have time to waste or wait. So we are just moving. So that is it.
According to the MTTD, 2,341 people died in road crashes in 2018. About 600 of that number perished in motorcycle-related accidents. Director in charge of education, research and training at the MTTD, Chief Superintendent Alexander Kweku Obin says the 12% increase in motorbike deaths can be attributed to indiscipline by some riders.
Motorcycle use is becoming a challenge for us. It is a challenging mode on our roads, and most users on it are so vulnerable. So it is a big challenge for us. For now, we are seeing an increasing worrying trend in terms of motorcycle-related crashes and injuries, deaths, and damage to the vehicles involved. And it is a problem. People are defying the state policy and are using it for commercial purpose of carrying fare-paying passengers in cities and in rural settings. And it is these that are fueling the trend of the mortalities and morbidity, because it goes with indiscipline.
He's pushing for a comprehensive policy to regulate the use of private and commercial motorbikes.
We're taking a break here on JoyNews Prime, but still ahead, Monday's scheduled court appearance on Nigerian suspect in Takoradi kidnapping case deferred with victims still in captivity. The gender minister, however, says the girls are alive. An Electoral Commission chairperson promises to work towards reducing the relatively high cost of elections in Ghana. The Speaker of Parliament is, however, advocating much stiffer sentences for electoral offenders. Stay tuned, we'll be back in a bit. You're welcome back. Now, the Takoradi Magistrate Court on Monday could not hear the trial of the prime suspect in the kidnapping of 3 girls in the Sekandi Takoradi metropolis. This was because the 28-year-old Nigerian suspect Samuel Udotek Wales, who is believed to belong to a kidnapping syndicate, was not in court. According to the prosecutor, Inspector Bernard Ahingsang, the suspect was taken from the Sekandi prisons to Accra over the weekend and could not arrive in the metropolis in good time for the hearing on Monday. Meanwhile, after weeks of searching for the missing Takoradi girls, Gender and Social Protection Minister Cynthia Morrison says she's certain the girls are alive. The minister's conviction is about the best news since the Bring Back Our Tardy Girls campaign was launched across the multimedia social news platforms. The following report recaps the story so far.
Pressure is mounting on the police to find 3 girls who have been kidnapped in the western region town of Takoradi. The girls, Priscilla Blessing Bentum, 21, 18-year-old Ruth Lavquason, and Priscilla Mantibia Kranchi, 15, were taken from various locations since last year, and nothing has been heard about their whereabouts. Parents and other residents of the metropolis who have lost their children through similar means on January 4 staged a protest in the town demanding action from the police, whose lackadaisical approach to the issue they believe is the reason the girls have not been found. A Nigerian resident in Ghana, Samuel Odotek Wills, was arrested as prime suspect in the matter and has been in and out of police custody. But the police have not been able to gather any meaningful information on the whereabouts of the girls. The suspect broke cell and was rearrested after a manhunt on December 30, 2018, and was remanded to appear on January 11, 2019 by a Takoradi Magistrate Court. JoyNews launched a campaign hashtag Bring Back Our Tidy Girls in a bid to finding and reuniting the missing girls with their families. When pressure started mounting, Western Regional Police Commander DCOP Redeemer Vincent Dejo said they have run out of options.
What is actually happening is that this is the man who is supposed to open up to us to know where the victims are. We have tried all means to talk to him. He only, in the initial stage, he took us to Kasua. We went and combed the whole of Kasua. He could not be able to lead us to where the victims are.
There was social media outrage as the police came under heavy criticisms for doing little in finding the missing girls, with victims' families appealing to President Akufo-Addo to intervene.
If it was to be an MP's daughter, or even assemblyman, or even a police commander, or even, let's say, one of the big men, the pastors, like, is that how they're going to treat the case?
Over the weekend, 15 suspects were arrested in connection with the 3 kidnapped girls in a swap at Odumase in the eastern region. The suspects, whose identities are yet to be disclosed, have since been sent to the police headquarters in Accra as investigations continue. Gender and Social Protection Minister Cynthia Morrison revealed the kidnapped girls are still alive, an assurance she had after she was briefed by Director General of the CID, DCOP Mamitiwa Adodankwa. Meanwhile, the suspect, Samuel Wills, on Monday failed to reappear before the Takoradi Magistrate Court. Prosecutor Inspector Bernard Ahinsan said the suspect was sent to Accra from secondary prison over the weekend and had not arrived in time for the scheduled hearing.
Well, the Nigerian High Commission is said to be worried about the trail of events so far, especially with reports that some Nigerians resident in Ghana are in danger. Over the weekend, for instance, there was a false alarm about some Nigerian kidnappers nabbed at the basement of a hotel at Ahinko Fikrom near Takoradi Bayangri residence. Police in the Western region say that kidnapping scares causing parents to report suspected cases, which mostly turn out to be untrue.
Recorded 4 cases.
Right, so we're going to bring you back here. That's soundbite of Olivia Dipku, who speaks for the police in the Western region, but essentially, as she was indicating, or just before we brought you that, she's been talking about the fact that the number of cases, the false alarms that people are passing on to the police. And it's because of this scare in the city that there are kidnappings all over the place, and parents are quite on the edge. But she's assuring that the police are on top of the case, and that the cases that are being reported, especially the one that we showed to you a short while ago about some 8 children being held in the basement of a building or a hotel, is untrue, because there were no children or there were no victims found there. In other news, the police has arrested the second suspect in the murder of former MPP Upper East Regional Chairman Adam Mahama. Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah at a news conference said the arrest comes after a year of surveillance with Interpol. The former MPP chairman died 3 years ago after some assailants poured acid on him at the entrance of his home. The second suspect, Asakwe Alande, was picked up in neighboring Ivory Coast.
Now, Ghana's security agencies working in collaboration with Interpol have arrested a second suspect in the murder of Adams Mahama, former chairman of the MPP in the Upper East region. The fugitive by name Asapke Alangdi was arrested in Ivory Coast after over a year of surveillance and search, during which period he moved camps from Burkina Faso and then later to Ivory Coast. Mr. Asapke was the second person believed to have been in the conspiracy with the first suspect, Mr. Gregory Afoko, in the murder of the deceased, Mr. Mahama, which incident occurred on the 20th of May, 2015. It will be recalled that on that day, Mr. Mahama was attacked in front of his home in Bogatanga with acid, leading to his death. Investigations disclosed that his death was caused by the two persons, that's Mr. Afoko and Mr. Alangde. Mr. Alangde, however, fled the Ghanaian jurisdiction in the days after the murder and has been on the run since. Ghana's security agencies have been on a manhunt for him since then. Mr. Afoko was, however, apprehended by police and has been put on trial since. The case is being tried by Justice L.L. Mensah, Justice at the Court of Appeal, sitting as an additional High Court judge, and has been adjourned to February 2019 for lawyers to address the jury. Now, while this trial has been ongoing, consistent efforts were underway to apprehend the fugitive, Mr. Alangdi, and he was arrested on Friday, 25th of January 2019, with the assistance of Interpol in Ivory Coast.
The state has filed a writ to discontinue the trial of the first suspect, Gregory Afoko. Instead, a new case has been filed to prosecute the two suspects. The Information Minister assures the trial will not be protracted.
The recent arrest of Mr. Asapke Alangdi has necessitated, therefore, the filing of a nolle prosequi in respect of the ongoing trial in the case of the Republic versus Gregory Afoko. This has been done about an hour ago, with the objective of discontinuing that initial trial to enable the two accused persons now to be tried together to best serve the interest of justice. Committal proceedings for the two accused persons will commence shortly for them to stand trial as soon as possible. The state additionally intends to pray the Chief Justice to assign a dedicated judge for an expedited trial considering the background of this case. And government assures all Ghanaians that it will not relent on any efforts to bring the perpetrators of crimes within this jurisdiction to book. Quickly, we don't expect it to take 3 years. That's why we've said that we are praying the Chief Justice to assign a dedicated judge so that we have an expedited trial in this matter. So we don't expect it to take 3 years. The view of the state is that we have a basis so to do to put the two persons together so that the ends of justice are better served. And that's why we are proceeding on this path.
Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah, who was addressing journalists at the Information Ministry today, also denied reports that 8 CEOs of state enterprises, including the NHIA, have been sacked on account of their age.
The brief you on is that government advises the general public, and in particular institutional stakeholders, to disregard a list of CEOs circulating as having been sacked on account of their age. Engagements between government and CEOs of state-owned enterprises are routine. While it remains the prerogative of the President to engage or to disengage the services of CEOs of state-owned enterprises, he exercises such powers after the necessary requisite engagements. Should the President at any time opt to disengage with the services of any CEO, that will be done, as always, in accordance with established due process. For now, the general public is advised to disregard media reportage that these persons, as you see their names and their photos listed, have been ordered to vacate their post on account of their age. You can disregard that one. If there are any specific matters that will be communicated to the general public accordingly.
The chairperson of the Electoral Commission has expressed grave concerns about the high cost of elections in the country. Jean Mensah, who was speaking at the 17th International Electoral Symposium here in Accra, said whilst it cost Ghana in excess of $12 per voter in the 2016 election, Nigeria paid $9 per voter and Tanzania $5 around the same period. She is therefore advocating measures to be put in place to reduce the cost. My colleague Kwesi Parker-Wilson has the rest of the story.
100 representatives from election-related institutions in over 50 different countries gathered to share best practice initiatives, accesses to new technologies and tools, and also develop innovative strategies that can be used to improve elections in their respective countries and regions. During the symposium, high-level public officials and leading international experts offered a variety of perspectives in relation to effective election management. Chairperson of Ghana's Electoral Commission, Jean Mensah, says her 5 months in office has taught her many lessons, debunking assertions that recent reported cases of electoral fraud during last year's referendum on the creation of new regions will continue to play out in successive elections organized by the EC.
We already have had the experience of conducting a referendum. Just a month ago, we conducted a referendum to decide on whether or not to create 6 additional regions. The elections, which were largely successful, witnessed a majority of Ghanaians voting yes in favor of the creation of new regions. So now we are currently expanding our activities and structures to these new areas. Again, at the institutional level, we are reflecting on the lessons learned from the recent referendum as we prepare for district-level elections and another referendum in the last quarter of this year. We believe that the challenges and opportunities, experiences and lessons from these elections and referenda will adequately prepare us for our parliamentary and presidential elections in December next year.
She also indicated that relying on donor support to partly fund the country's elections compromises our independence. Speaking to JoyNews, she assured of a commitment to reduce the cost of the upcoming 2020 general elections.
The cost of our elections, Ghanaian elections in 2016, was $12, a little over $12. That of Nigeria was a little over $9 per person. Sure. And in Tanzania, it was as low as $5. How can we learn from them? How can we streamline certain obsolete processes that will help reduce the cost of elections? And these are some of the things that we intend to do. The Electoral Commission is one of the issues that we'll be looking at, is how to streamline, how to audit our processes, and really make it more watertight, efficient, whilst reducing cost. I think value for money is at the heart of everything that we do. And it's not pleasant, it's not a good feeling to be labeled as, a commission that has very running costly elections. So this is something.
See a drastic reduction in 2020?
Well, some reduction, I'm sure some reduction. And I'm sure that, as we move on and go forward, we could reduce this further.
Well, the Speaker of Parliament, Professor Aaron Mike Okwe, is advocating stiffer sentences for persons who engage in electoral offences. The Speaker was also addressing the 17th International Electoral Symposium here in Accra, said such persons should not serve jail terms less than 5 years.
And in my studies, I've found the Kenyan model of great relevance worthy of emulation. It is a compendium of various election offences that provide also for punishment when detected in a manner that will become useful deterrent for Africa as a whole, to my mind. The Election Offences Act in Kenya is a very useful guide which should help us all draft and pass a suitable law within a couple of months, which we, all lovers of truth, should support. For example, a person found guilty of an offense should be liable to imprisonment for not less than 5 years and between 10 to 20 years without option of a fine. Offenses relating to voters' registration, offenses by election officers maintenance of security at elections, including banning of mobile phones, which are often used to take pictures and then claim monies thereafter, that really I voted for you, I want my cash. This is vote buying, bribery, impersonation, undue influence, illegal expenditure. The employees of the EC itself, and in fact the whole compendium in the Kenyan law, can be brushed up and applied in Africa generally. And this should be worthy of actual emulation.
Now, all is set for the January 31 by-election of the iaso West Wuogon constituency. This follows the death of the Member of Parliament for that constituency, Emmanuel Chermante Ejaku, who was buried over the weekend. The four political parties vying for the vacant seat are the New Patriotic Party, the National Democratic Congress, Progressive People's Party, and the Liberal Party of Ghana. Here's a brief profile of the candidates. Right, so we have Delali Kwesi Brimpong. He's contesting on the ticket of the National Democratic Congress. He contested the late MP in 2016, and he lost the 2016 election by over 10,000 votes. He's the owner of Early Pharmacy, and this is the third time he's contesting the iaso West Wuogon seat. And so as you can see, he would need some 10,000 votes more if he's to bridge the gap, if we're assuming that the 2016 by-election or 2016 election is going to go the same way as the as this year's by-election. The other candidate is William Kofi Dowokpo. He's contesting on the ticket of the Progressive People's Party, or the PPP. He's a former leading member of the CPP, and he's a managing consultant at Advocacy Communications. He studied at GIJ and the University of Ghana Business School. And he is also contesting the iaso West Wuogon constituency seat for the third time. There's also Clement Wedi, is contesting on the ticket of the Liberal Party of Ghana. Currently, he is the National Youth Organizer of the Liberal Party of Ghana. He works at Brew Marketing Consult, or he probably worked at Brew Marketing Consult. He's a first-time contestant for the iaso West Wuogon seat. And then there's Lydia Sarah Malahassan. She's contesting on the ticket of the New Patriotic Party. She's CEO of Limens Medical Supplies. She's board member of the Minerals Commission, vice chair, pharmaceutical importers and wholesalers, executive member of the Chamber of Pharmacy Ghana, member Boso Regional Finance Committee, member iaso West Wuogon Finance Committee of the MPP, and she was with the former MP Emmanuel Chermante Ejaku, and they have 5 children together. Now moving on to other stories. The joy of bearing a child is one that every parent looks forward to with excitement. After the birth of the child, it is the parent's wish for that infant to develop and function fully. But what happens when that desire never becomes a reality? We'll find out in the latest JoyNews Hotline documentary, Born Special, produced by Beryl Ernestina Richter, which puts a spotlight on the struggles and challenges faced by families of children living with cerebral palsy.
A disability can be one of the most heart-straining experiences a parent can go through. Everyday tasks such as feeding, grooming, toileting, and bedtime routines can be extremely challenging, especially if the child requires complex care. Comfort used to operate a corn mill, but she had to stop.
Nyele mawudon temo kube ni ba mo emi ami be nyele mawo eto mi wa agbene hu won ni ji na agba unji da agbeni bonyomo pampers ile won chun loko le won pa ni chumo ake ni chumo wa but nan time ni okekwele won pa chun loko biane.
Michael has to crawl on his back or be lifted onto his wheelchair. His elder brother Ben has to help him move around the house. According to Professor Baidu, cerebral palsy is unfortunately a lifelong condition.
Cure, as I know or understand that word, for now, I don't think there's a cure. Stem cell has promising ability, stem cell therapy, but I wouldn't say that it is well established, at least for cerebral palsy. In some areas, it's been brilliant. I think even for vision and hearing, injecting stem cells in the right ways, they've got dramatic results. But like I told you earlier, it looks like cerebral palsy. There are different things that can cause it actually. And so it is not like you have one maybe unique or solitary kind of problem that we can say for now. When you use maybe stem cell therapy, then everything sort of goes away. I mean, if something has damaged you and it has made you get, let's say, mental retardation or what we call learning difficulties.
Right, and that'll be all for the bulletin. Coming up next, we're bringing you our hotline documentary, Born Special, and you need to stay tuned for that. That's it. My name is Israel. Have a good night.
This is JoyNews Prime.